And I'm going to turn on my camera because everybody else has so far. Hey, everybody. So we are recording now. I'm so fucking nervous. I don't know why. I'm so nervous, but my name is Decima. I have 17 months kratom free as of yesterday. I've been fighting this kratom fight for a long time. I used kratom for about 9 years. I had a 2-year run in recovery from kratom between 2016 and 2018, and then I relapsed. So yeah, it's this insidious, toxic relationship that I've had with kratom has been going on for a long time. But I'm gonna back up a little bit. I'm gonna try not to turn my life story into a 5-part mini series. It's been a lot. There's a lot, and I'll try not to trigger myself. But I'm gonna go ahead and give the warnings for everything. I'm not even gonna I'm not even gonna, break it down. Just warnings for everything because I've been through a lot in my life. I was born in Mississippi at 0 years old, of course, to my mom. And I was born, a defining thing about me to me is that I was born without a dad. And my mom and my grandmother kind of had, all the influence in the first year of my life. And they fought over me a lot. Like, literally physically, I have scars on my face from where they fought over me as a baby, dropped me. Like, that's the kind of background I come from. I come from a background of a lot of trauma. My mom met my dad when I was a year old and moved us to Montana. And I didn't know he wasn't my dad. I grew up thinking he was my dad. I had 2 siblings with them. Long story short, my dad ended up going to prison when I was 12 years old. Let me back up a little bit. I grew up in extreme poverty and neglect, abuse. There was a lot of sexual abuse from the time I was from my earliest memories. I was sexually abused by many family members, family friends, males, females, other kids. It was yeah, a lot of that. When my mom and dad divorced, I found, while we were packing up to come back to Mississippi, I found the adoption papers, and that's how I found out that he wasn't my dad. And that was pretty traumatic for me. That set off me wanting to find out who my father was, like the whole, yeah, I needed to know. I was on a search from that point on. I knew he was in the South somewhere, Mississippi, Alabama somewhere, but anyway, I'll back up a little bit more. My mom didn't do too good as a single parent at all. She was an alcoholic. I don't remember her doing a lot of drinking when she was with my dad, but my dad drank a lot. I saw it a lot. All my aunts, uncles, grandparents, like, definitely raised in that environment. Marijuana, other drugs. Like, I just saw it all from a very young age. Yeah. So anyway, my mom, she really went off the deep end when they divorced. She basically became a prostitute. We lived in like extreme poverty. I have memories of my mom moving us into like these trailers with no furniture, no electricity, water, anything, and then she'd like disappear for fucking days. And I'd be taking care of my brother and sister. Like, I pretty much raised my brother and sister. They were my babies. I did everything for them. And they'll tell you to this day, like, I was more of a mom to them than she was. I had a lot of trouble in school. I was an angry child, as you can imagine, because of all of the abuse and trauma and shit that I went through. It made me really fucking angry. Like, I just have these memories at a very young age of like rage consuming me. So anger has been a big thing that, as you'll see through my story. My mom lost custody of us for obvious reasons. I won't go into all that. I actually went to jail at a very young age. At 14, I went to jail for the first time. We ended up in foster care. They tried to put me with my grandparents in Montana. They sent us from Mississippi to Montana. But I like spoke out finally about my grandpa who had been molesting me and my cousins. And that's where they wanted to send us. And that's why I spoke out, because I really didn't want to fucking go there. So I didn't go there, but my siblings went there, which was fucked up. I ended up going to foster homes. I went back and forth to a few foster homes, ended up running away, aged out of foster care. I had already done lots of drugs at this time. I had already tried. The first time I ever drank, my mom used to actually buy alcohol for me and my friends, like as a babysitter when she would go off doing her fucking prostitution and shit. I have a lot of memories of fucking strange men asleep around the Christmas tree on Christmas morning. No fucking presents, but there's these strange men and a smell of some weird fucking shit in the house. But yeah, so anyway, that led to the taste of alcohol and drugs, like me finding out and realizing that numbed everything. That was an escape. That was a great way to escape. And not only that, it was fucking fun for me. All of my friends loved it because my mom was like, you know, providing the alcohol, which was one of the reasons that she went to jail and lost custody of us. So that awoke that hunger. Aged out of foster care, went through a series of marriages, and I've been married 4 times. I'm on my 4th marriage. All 3 of my marriages previously, I'll just wrap them all up because they were basically fucking 1, 2, 3 part 1. Like they were the same fucking, it was the same thing over and over again. Every fucking marriage. Good guy. I was a fucking mess. Didn't have my shit together. Like I could be good for a little while. Because I recognized this was an opportunity each time that somebody was giving me a chance. And I would be good mom, soccer mom for a while, but eventually just started like, I don't know what it was. I went through a lot of postpartum depression. Each time I had my child, each child, I went through a lot of postpartum depression. I think maybe my rock bottom was when my second husband left me like 2 days after my grandmother died. And she was my person. My grandmother was my fucking hero my whole life. Like she was the only one through my childhood that like showed me love and made me feel love. Yeah. So when she died and he left me, I really went all out on the substances. I mean, it was pretty much any substance you can imagine. And it was like, like in steps, like, first I'd be like, first I'd swallow the pills, then I'd smoke them, snort them, then I'm injecting them. So yeah, it kind of went in stages. I never went to rehab. I never fucking had anybody that cared enough to like help me out in that way. Like I remember watching, I know a lot of us have watched that show fucking Intervention. And like my thing with Intervention is I will fucking wish, oh my God, I wish somebody loved me like that or cared enough to fucking give me that opportunity. Like, I would have taken it in a heartbeat. But no, never had that. Never had anybody to fucking give a shit. I should have lost my kids a few times. I should have fucking went in my mom's footsteps. But the fact that nobody cared enough to fucking report me is what kept me from losing my kids, I'm sure, at certain points in my life. I became a dancer whenever I left my second husband. I mean, actually, my first husband. I became a dancer, and that also fed the drug addiction because it was like I was making all this money, and the dealers are basically like right there. So by the time I left for the night, I would maybe have gas money and enough money to get some crystals or Waffle House on the way home, so I never was good with fucking money. I always blew it on all my drugs. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place with my story, you guys. When I hit my rock bottom, I guess I can sum it up like this. I just always knew inside that I wanted to do better. That I wasn't like, I don't know, like I just knew. I knew I had to fucking do better. So I was always trying. Excuse me. I should probably also mention that in each relationship, it was really like violent and I was the aggressor most of the time. Like I was a bad fucking person. I was a really bad person. I feel like I have a lot of like regrets and feel like I owe these guys and these people that I've been in relationships with and fucked their whole lives up. I just feel like I owe them an apology. And I don't know if I'll ever like it'll ever be appropriate to do that. But I caused a lot of fucking chaos on my way out of every fucking relationship. Um, I finally decided to be alone for a little while. And at this point, I had then been through cocaine, meth. Now I'm on pills, opiates. I'm injecting them. And I'm just at a point, I'm learning what dope sick is. Like every other drug, I never really had like gotten sick when I tried to quit. But with the pills, you guys know it, just like with Kratom, makes you really, really, really fucking sick. And excuse me. So for that, I decided to start looking for help, and the only help that I could find, given I didn't have a good job with good insurance, I didn't have any kind of like support system or anything like that. So the only thing I found was the methadone clinic. And the methadone clinic was just another, like, it was just like replacing for me. It was just like replacing one with the other. And I had a lot of bad side effects. But I mean, I loved being high on methadone. I would be in that fucking line at 4 a.m., every fucking morning on time, earning them fucking take homes. If I could earn one day take home, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, what kind of life is that? So I graduated from that to Suboxone, but I didn't get Suboxone like from a doctor. I did it illegally through a friend that hooked me up, and I started abusing the Suboxone. I started injecting the Suboxone, which is crazy. Like, people say you can't do that, but I did, and that I remember feeling really fucking hopeless. I had a really good job at this point. Like, I'm trying to clean my life up. I'm staying single. I'm focusing on my kids at this point. They're all like in high school and shit. And I'm trying, but I got this fucking Suboxone habit, this little habit of shooting up Suboxone every day. Even like in the bathroom at work, I remember like I'm in this fucking corporate building in the bathroom shooting up and having like this fantasy of somebody catching me, because remember, I don't have any fucking buddy, and like if somebody caught me, maybe somebody would fucking care. I don't know. It was sick. This is where Kratom entered the picture, I guess you could say, because I was really fucking desperate to get off of Suboxone. I joined a Suboxone group on Facebook, like people trying to get off of Suboxone. And that's where I learned about Kratom. This was back in like 2015, 14 maybe. Real fucking early. I remember there was only one website that I knew of, that anybody really knew of at this time, to buy Kratom. The vendors were people on these Facebook groups. That's how that's where I remember the Kratom vendors being born. Like, just these individuals in their fucking house, in their basement, whatever, bagging it up. I was getting it in fucking Ziploc baggies in the mail, like ridiculous, I should have known. I think part of me probably did know, because it worked. It fucking worked. I was able to quit Suboxone with injecting Suboxone. I was able to fucking quit doing that with Kratom. But as you guys know, that was a whole new beast. And let me tell you, at this point, Kratom is like a new thing. And we're all like let's do Kratom, you know. We're telling everybody about it. We're pro Kratom. Fucking this is this miracle plant. This is so sad, and I tell this a lot, but there was a time I had a fucking bin with quart-sized jars of different strains of kratom in these jars, and I was taking it with me to work. I was taking it with me to bike club. I was like telling everybody, like, fucking, this is some, you know, you don't even have to take fucking Lortab, you don't have to take Vicodin, like this shit right here, it'll help you get off of all that, is what I'm telling people, you know. And it's legal. It's legal. And if you're on probation or anything like that at work, you can pass a drug test. Like, you guys know all the things, all the lore of kratom. I fell for all of that. So, in fact, at one point when I met my now husband 10 years ago, which he's amazing. God, I can't believe he's still fucking with me, because I tried my shit with him in the beginning, because kratom actually led me eventually back to the same old fucking behaviors and habits and mindset. Like, it was slow and insidious, and I didn't see it happening, I don't think. Like, I think I was in like this fucking fog. I was doing all these horrible fucking things. I was cheating on him, but I was like, in my mind, this was before we got married, but in my mind, I'm like, well, we're not married, and as long as he doesn't know, and like, I'm fogging it all out, you know. I'm in a rage all the time. My baby, I probably should bring him up because he's a big part of my story. I have 3 adult kids, ages 20. Let me see if I can get this right here. 27, 25, 27, and 30. I also have an 8-year-old, and I have been through a lot of miscarriages between those children, and wanted this baby boy for so long. Excuse me. When I found out I was pregnant with him, I was on kratom. This was in 2015. I was on kratom, and my husband really wanted me to get off it wasn't my husband at the time, but anyway, I digress. He really wanted me to get off, obviously, because I'm pregnant with his child. So I did. I actually got off of kratom I was about 17 weeks whenever I finally got off kratom completely. When my son was born, he had a heart condition that was life-threatening. He had to be life-flighted. Oh my God. He had to be life-flighted. Shit. That's why I almost left this part of the story out, because it's so triggering for me. It caused me a lot of PTSD, because that's my baby that I wanted for so long. And we didn't even know the whole pregnancy that anything was wrong with him. And we were getting ready to leave, and they came back. And if any of you guys know anything about health and pulse ox, his pulse ox was 60%, which is on the verge of, like, that's vital. So yeah, he was, life flighted, immediately had to have open heart surgery, and I couldn't even like hold my baby for a while. Oh my God. So we got to finally bring him home after 6 weeks. He had his surgery that was a surgery that there wasn't a lot of odds for him to make it through. He has Shone's complex, which is like the trifecta of heart defects. And to do that kind of surgery on a newborn is like surgery on tissue paper, is the way his surgeon described it to me. And if it were to like not hold, if it were to break, then that would be it, is what he told us. I brought my baby home 6 weeks later, I believe, and we went back for his checkup, and we're getting ready to leave, and they call us and say, bring him back immediately. It did not hold up. It ripped. So PTSD again. Just, man. that was the scary. I'll go ahead and say he's here still. He's 8 years old, and he's doing really fucking good. I told his surgeon that I was gonna, he was gonna show them what a miracle is, and his surgeon acted like, he didn't want me to like get my hopes up but he has been showing. But anyway, I'll get back to the kratom, you guys. That was just a really big part of my story. So yeah, I did quit for a little while. I quit after he was born. I quit for 2 years and I was doing really, really good. I had lost a lot of weight because kratom made me lose my hair. It made me like, I was screaming at my kids every morning before school, starting their day off bad. I was always in kratom rage. Whenever I quit, I was doing really, really good, but I left the kratom community. We had created the Facebook group for quitting kratom back in 2017 when I first quit and all. I left it though. I was like, man, this shit's just reminding me of kratom. I need to get away from this. I need to just get away from this shit because it's not good for me. It's just making me think of it and I should just move on with my life. But yeah, I started fucking thinking, oh, now I can just try a little bit. And I did. I tried a little bit and I was able to do a little bit until I wasn't. And you guys all know that story. Before I knew it, I was right back where I left off. This time kratom got dark. It got so fucking dark because I think at this point I was so afraid that I wouldn't be able to quit. I thought kratom was gonna fucking I was stuck. I tried everything. I had not touched any other hard drugs or anything since 2011, but in recent years, like between 2020 to 2023, trying to quit kratom, I tried dumb shit like Valium. I hate to admit this shit, you guys. I tried Adderall and meth. I tried dumb shit trying to quit kratom. I would have never done that. I never ever would have relapsed on those things if it wasn't for trying alcohol. I was like I remember a couple of nights in kratom withdrawal drinking so much fucking alcohol, trying to get rid of that withdrawal, and it made it, you guys know, it makes it so much worse. It's like pissing your pants to try to keep warm. Waking up feeling sometimes in a pile of puke in my hair. I remember one morning waking up with puke in my hair, trying to quit kratom. Yeah, so every time I did it that way, it didn't work, obviously. I just remember feeling very, very fucking hopeless because I'm not doing it the right way, right? I'm still like at this point getting back in touch with the online community and things like that, but I'm still not really doing what I need to do. So fast forward, the universe took control, and in 2023, within 5 months, I had 3 seizures. I had never had seizures before in my life, ever. Never had seizures. And all of a sudden, I started having seizures. And now looking back, I can see where throughout my kratom use, certain things like the eye wobbles and certain feelings of just like being not there. I don't know if you guys can understand like an aura type feeling, a surreal deja vu type. Excuse me, you guys. Anyway, so yeah, it got to that point. I had 3 seizures that were so bad I lost consciousness and thought I died. Like the first thought to my head when I came to was, am I dead? That last one, I caught on camera. So going back and watching that was really fucking sobering. My son is a police officer. I know a lot of you have already heard this story, but he's a police officer. He was a rookie at the time, brand new police officer. And my doorbell footage caught him on my porch crying, and his sergeant like comforting him, and I was so embarrassed. I was so fucking humiliated. I still to this day don't know if he realizes I think he does, but I don't know. I haven't had that talk with him. But it was that was it for me. That was my rock bottom with Kratom. I knew if I did not fucking stop, I can show you the video. It's actually in the group, but I'll show you guys later. Yes, no. But I knew if I didn't stop, I was gonna die from Kratom. And not only that, I was gonna be one of those deaths that you guys and my family would have to fucking argue with people about. You know what I mean? Like oh, she was on other shit. No, I really fucking wasn't. At this time, I was not on anything else. Nothing else. Just Kratom. I'm sorry. I take that back. Cannabis. I've always used cannabis. I've always used cannabis. So I was on cannabis as well, but we all know that didn't do that. So yeah, how did I do it? You guys, I got serious at that point. I got with a doctor. I went online and looked up Vivitrol, looked at providers in my area, found a doctor that prescribes Vivitrol. I fucking started the supplements. I made a plan. I started tapering. I took what I had left and I divided it up and tapered off of it. I got a journal, held myself accountable. I started checking into meetings. Yeah, the supplements were a big help for me. I think starting the right supplements early and getting them, it made that getting them in my system, I think it made that final jump a little easier. But it wasn't painless. And I went through a lot of hell trying to get my Vivitrol shot. I didn't get it until I had finally gotten it at 21 days. So I had already been through the worst of the detox. But I decided to go ahead and get on it anyway. Yeah, it hasn't been a perfect life since, but it has been better. A lot of bad shit happened right away. It's like the universe tried me. I lost my job that I fucking loved so much, and that meant that I actually lost my Vivitrol shot for about 4 months. During that time, I remember going through a lot of cravings and shit. So I got back on it immediately as soon as I got on a good job again with good insurance. Staying connected. I'm gonna tell you guys these meetings. I have not really missed a meeting. I've missed a couple, but I could probably count them on one hand. I just always felt called to be at the meeting, even if I didn't speak, even if I'm just present, just listening. I just have to fucking be connected. I got into therapy this time and habits, changing my habits. I can tell you guys one thing. My favorite fucking thing is getting up in the morning now because I don't have to get up early to dose and then lay back down and wait an hour. And, that's how I'm going to tell you guys, that's how I actually fucking ended up having my seizures every time. I overdosed on Kratom because I had this fucking fucked up ritual or habit or whatever you want to call it, routine, where every morning I woke up an hour early, but I was in withdrawal every fucking day. Every day I was in withdrawal from Kratom. Excuse me, you guys. Let me take a sip of my water. So I was trying to take my dose and get it down and keep it down and wait for it to kick in and make me better so that I could wake up, not be sick, and get on with my day. But every day it was a fucking race. Most days I made it, but the days that I fucking overdosed, I obviously didn't. What was happening is I would take it, I would throw up, and I'd be like, oh, I got to take some more because I threw up, but not realizing my body is actually absorbing a lot of it. But I would throw up, take more, throw up, take more. It was a cycle. And before I knew it, I wasn't here anymore. I was somewhere else. Lucky I'm still here. That was really scary. I guess that's really pretty much my Kratom story, you guys. I plan to stay connected. I plan to stay on Vivitrol as long as I don't really have a plan other than as long as I can do it and I want to do it, I'm going to do it, because why not? It was really hard to get on it. I had to go through a lot of red tape, and I had to spend a lot of money on deductibles and shit. So at this point, it's like, might as well, because I think it gave me that time of not having to worry about cravings, to focus on other shit, to really focus on trying to see why I'm using, which is what I'm doing. I'm trying to focus on why I used to begin with and how to not do that again. The goal now is to not relapse. That's the most important fucking thing. The most important thing is to stay connected to you guys, my family, because I definitely couldn't have done it without you guys. You guys are everything, fucking everything. I've seen miracles fucking happen in this group. Yeah, there's no way I could have done it without you guys. Yeah, I guess that's really it. I'm not completely like there with all of the bullshit I went through as a child, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But I want you guys to know that on this side, it feels so fucking good. It feels so good. It feels so good to get up in the morning, grab a bottle of water, go. That's it. I love that shit. I fucking love it. I love getting up and feeling good without a substance. And one thing is, I never thought that I could do that. I thought that I knew I could quit, but I didn't know I would like it and love it and thrive and feel good. And yeah, that's what it's all about. I'm thriving in recovery. So yeah, thank you guys so much for letting me share my story. I love you all.
Thank you, Decima. Thank you so much for sharing